training yourself that whenever you start a lesson, you must have to start by acquainting your learners or your students of the lesson objectives. And our lesson objectives is be our objective to discuss Gestalt and Ausubel's theories. So this morning, we are devoting our time to discuss two important theories. These are the Gestalt's and Ausubel's theory because these two have lots to do with the theories that are applicable to the classroom, so that you will know what to do when you are encountering these situations or these variables. No? So these are the two. And as we start, please look at this picture. What do you see in the picture, Millicent?
Two-person po.
That
Color black.
are, okay. So
Silhouette.
we have the two persons. What other things that you see in the picture, Miss Vitog?
Ganun din po. 2% po.
Yun to, the black one.
Opo.
Who have seen the white colored picture? Mr. Bistan, did you see the white? What is it?
Sir, parang ano po, baso.
Gandang baso yan. But that is called baluster. We can see that as a fence in the terrace, something like that. No, it's called a baluster. So based from the picture that is posted, there are many principles that you can learn. Some will see the two or the colored black, others will see the colored white. And if you are focused on the black, so you will be able to see there are two human beings, and these are males and male in a female. And then we have at the middle the white one. How about this one? Jam. What do you see in the picture?
Black and white po.
Black and white what? So they are also colored black and white.
2%.
There are also two persons. Miss Garcia, what other things did you see?
Parang nakahawak po yung black sa mukha ng white. Tapos yung white po nakahawak malapit po sa chest ng black.
Okay, so there are two persons that are in the silhouette and they are embracing with each other. No? They are embracing each other. Okay, so it's good to see such picture because these are examples of the things that we picture whenever we are dealing with the learners or we are in the educational community, and this concept is proposed by Gestalt Psychology. There are three theories under the Gestalt theory. We have the first one, we have Max Wertheimer. So there are three theories that propose Gestalt theory. Gestalt is not a human being. There are three theories that propose them. First one is Maxwell Chesser. So he is an Australian-Hungarian psychologist, and he has his book, Productive Thinking. And Max was born on April 15, 1880 and died 1943. So he was educated at Hamburg University of Berlin, Charles University. So there were many universities where he graduated from. Another psychologist who sponsored the Gestalt theory, we have this one, we have Karl Kafka, and then he is a German psychologist born on March 17 in Germany, of course, died 1941. So in his era, we have the 20th century philosophy, and his education is he garnered his degree in University of Gießen, Wilhelm's Gymnasium, in of course in Germany. And we have the third proponent of Gestalt psychology. We have Wolfgang Kohler. He is also a German psychologist and phenomenologist. Phenomenologist is a person who studied the behavior of human beings, no, how they react to circumstances. That's another part of psychology. And born on January 21, 1887 in Estonia, 1967. So he died in New Hampshire, United States. And his education, he garnered in Humboldt University in Berlin, and of course in Everhard Karls University, University of Bonn. So there were three universities. So these three are the proponents of Gestalt theory. So besides the education that he has received, he also received an award, the APA Award for Distinguished Scientific Contributions to Psychology. So APA is American Psychological Association. Now, what are the characteristics of Gestalt psychology? One, it is considered as the forefront of cognitive psychology. So when we speak about cognitive psychology, this is really focused on the mental development, on the mind of an individual. You are very familiar what cognitive is because we are concentrating as teachers in that three domains. So it is the forefront, meaning it is the basis or other theories that arrive about in psychology. The first one is Gestalt psychology. It posts the external and mechanistic focus of behavior. So the Gestalt psychology is focused on the repetitive, the behavior that is always seen in an individual, and we can already see it because it is seen visibly. It is always expressed, it is concrete, and it is something like behavioral objectives. So when we do behavioral objectives, these are behavior that are clearly seen from our students when we tackle a lesson. We call it behavioral objectives. It is in the same manner that Gestalt psychology focused on the behavior of an individual that is obvious, that is external. Then it considered the mental processes and the products of perception. So there are two important terms that you have to remember in terms of Gestalt psychology. So we have mental processes, how our minds process, how our minds analyze, how our minds synthesize, how our minds imagine things. We call them as mental processes. And if they understand something, if they receive something, if they comprehend something, what are now the effects of those things? We call them as the products of perception. Then it also emphasizes the importance of sensory wholes in the dynamic nature of visual perception. So wholes in the dynamic nature of visual perception. So in Gestalt psychology, it is very important that the use of senses. So according to Gestalt psychology, those senses, especially the five major senses that we have, are very important. And if we rank the different senses, we also rank the first is visual or the sense of sight. So they are very important in the development of the mental processes of individual, our sight, and of course the different senses. Gestalt means form or configuration. An example of configurations are the two pictures that we have presented, which you have analyzed. Now, we call them as configuration. So, configuration or different forms, those are the two meanings of Gestalt. It is considered, in the Gestalt psychology, they considered learners as active participants, not passive. So meaning that in order for an individual to learn, say for example, you, the 10 of you who are in the synchronous class in here, before you learn, you have to be active, meaning you have to listen attentively, you have to look at the presentation, you have to concentrate, meaning you will not be disturbed by other external factors that are in your environment, whether you are in your house or you are at your room or any place in your abode. You have to remove being distracted by what you sense. Because in order for an individual to learn, according to Gestalt, they must be active. Next, consideration. So, actively process and restructure data to understand them. So, when we speak about a person is active learner, he is actively processing and analyzing the data in order for them to understand. So, what I am explaining, what I am discussing with you, all you have to do after receiving it is to process it in your mind, process it so that you will, upon perception or upon understanding, you will also, you will get learnings from it. Okay, so the factors that impact the perceptual process. Now, even though, say for example, the 10 of you are active learners, but still there are many factors regarding the level of perception or the level of understanding. Number one is your past experiences. So the past experiences of an individual has something to do with what they will be seeing or what they will be receiving from the teacher or from the environment. Those people who have already experienced what the teacher is teaching, of course, is different. The learning he will gain is different from those students who have just heard the new lesson, which might be being taught by the teacher. Then, of course, another factor is the needs. Now, your need has something to do with the level of perception that you're going to have when you are uh, receiving something from the environment. Say for example, if you have no money, say for example, if you have money and then you have seen in the Facebook that there is somebody who will give money, of course, because you need money, you will have more attention in looking at the Facebook or the channel in the YouTube because you are needing money, something like that. Now, of course, your attitude is also a very good factor that will impact the perception process. So, a positive attitude will lead you to a more perception, to a positive perception, and negative attitudes, of course, will lessen your perception in the things that you are seeing, or especially that you are here in this class. If you are having a very positive attitude, you will be learning much of the lesson today. But if you are not having a positive attitude, of course, the level of perception is lessened. And the last one is the present condition. Your present condition today, especially that we are using the internet, if you have a very low connection or not good connection, of course, that will also a factor for you to understand the lesson for today. Only in terms of the connectivity of your internet, but of course your present condition. If you are physically sick or if you are mentally disturbed, it will be hampering the level of perceptual process. Okay, so these four are very important factors to consider when the level of perception is at stake.
Share Jesus. Subscribe and share Paraclet TV. Go, go, go.